Welcome to Dental Nachos TV. We have a special guest for you before we start this show. One of my favorite people in the dentistry world, Ashley Best, sponsor. She is on brand with her Nacho or Guac is Extra shirt at Super Dentist Boost Camp. Ashley, thanks for joining me. For those people here who do not know what you do every day, tell us what you do to help dentists survive, thrive, and not cry.
Love it. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So I'm director of partnerships here at Dental Intelligence. Work with practices and partners alike to make their life easier, save them time and headache and tears, as Paul would say.
Yeah, I wish Dental Intel was invented earlier in my career. I'm old enough to have done a lot of this with a rock and a stick. I want to share with people here that if you want to learn more about Dental Intel, get the metrics that matter for your practice, text Intel to 215-543-6454 to learn more from our sponsor. Just big picture wise for a second, Ashley, we have new practice owners on. This show tonight is going to be about buying and selling a practice. What does
Love it.
Dental Intel do? Let's say they buy a practice and they just buy it from someone who's retired and doesn't have any of this stuff in their practice. How would Dental Intel help them?
Happens more than you'd know. So yeah, absolutely. So with Dental Intelligence, we're an end-to-end practice solution. So we come in, sit right on top of that practice management software that you have in place, or perhaps you're considering changing, and we go to town to work for you and your team and your patients alike. So everything from the minute the appointment's scheduled to the minute you want to collect a penny from insurance or from the patient, and kind of every step in between. So work with a lot of new practices and existing practices. So even if you're selling and you want to grow your practice to a certain number before you sell to get top dollar, we have a lot of doctors that will implement DI in that process as well.
Well, one of our awesome sponsors that you collaborate with, DDS Match, talks about the clinical opportunities missed, right? So let's say you're in the middle of your career, you're a medium-aged dentist like me. Dental Intel can also help you identify, what did you say, procedures that have not been scheduled. Have you seen clients been able to ramp up production, help patients, and not work more hours? One of the most favorite things of dentists.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people in your group every day posting about how they work 3 days a week and grew the practice from 700,000 to over six figures by using the data at their disposal in DI and then the automation that comes behind it. So absolutely.
And before we let you go, I want to share that, when the people text in, you also have a deal. We're going to talk about Kate to wrap up, but tell us about this deal that you can get. My grandmother's right, Ashley. I am special. So what kind of special deal can they get through me?
Yeah. Through Dental Nachos, we do a waived setup. So depending on if you're doing the full system or just the analytics, that's anywhere from a $750 to a $1,500 savings right out of the gate. Reduce that barrier to entry for you. And then as our payment solution ramps up and we're getting practices paid faster because you can now do text to pay and have an in-office terminal, we are giving Nachos members a free terminal as well. So that right there is a $265 savings. So couple those two together and you're looking at $1,000 to $1,800 in savings. So
Well, my studies have shown 114% of dentists like to save money. Their crown preps are $2,000 works of art. No discounts on those. But as we wrap up, and I'll let you go before we start the show, one of my most important people in my life, Kate, my patient care coordinator, says she uses the magic button for Dental Intel because of a tale as old as time. I need my hygiene schedule booked. My hygiene schedule fell apart next week. These patients are not coming back. Tell us about how this magic button can help you keep that hygiene schedule filled.
yeah. Yeah, and I love that Kate uses that and calls it that. That's an amazing name. We actually kind of have two magic buttons in my mind. So one would be that I know Kate uses daily is the Smart Fill feature inside of the analytics tool. So that is going to show you the who to fill an opening in the schedule. Could be hygiene or restorative. We're going to look at people that need an appointment, show up on time, pay their bills, accept treatment at a high rate, so on and so forth. It's some machine learning in the background, makes it a really nice, easy, digestible list instead of your team racking their brain on who to call. And then the actionable part of that is the other magic button, in my opinion. And that is the ability to pull that ASAP list over from Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental, and send a mass message to that entire group, offering them an appointment time, letting them book it on their own if you're open to online scheduling, or encouraging them to call the office. So we kind of have two sides to the magic button, but either way, a quick way to fill the schedule. You can work as quickly out as tomorrow or plan your month in advance if you see days that you're not to goal.
Yeah, so important. I mean, openings and hygiene can cause so many challenges. They cause um, lost production, lost opportunities to help patients. And your hygienist, how many times can they reorganize the toothbrushes? And, that's what they're there to do, clean teeth. They're like the field goal kickers. They have a specialized job in your office. So thanks, Ashley, for sharing with us. Please take advantage of this amazing opportunity. Text Intel to 215-543-6454. And thanks so much for your awesome support. I know we're going to get the high five at Boost Camp this year. So have a great rest of your night.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ashley. So we are going to start our CE on TV show in just a minute. I'm so impressed how many people are here on Zoom. Please get ready to ask your questions. It's so much more fun when I learn about you. So to be able to get free CE for watching in on seasoned age dentists looking to sell, baby age dentists looking to buy, and exhausted medium age dentists, just do this right now. Text register to 215-543-6454. Text register to 215-543-6454. You will get a link, and at the end, there will be a completion code to put in. If you have any questions about how to get C, I put in the chat, c@dentalnachos.com. But start out by texting register to 215-543-6454. So we're going to start our CE on TV show now. This is what I call baby age dentist affectionately looking to buy, people early in their career, mid-career looking to buy. Baby age does not mean your human age. It just means your dentisting age. Someone could be 35 years old in their first year of dental school, or 35 years old, 6 years into their career. Medium age dentists, 10 to 25 years into their career. Exhausted mads, that's me. And SAD, seasoned age dentist looking to sell. So this is about the whole circle of dentisting life. And why is it so important? I see one of my favorite dental students watching in right now. Why is it so important for a dental student to know what a seasoned age dentist is thinking about? Because those are the things that are going to make them successful when they're having conversations with these dentists about acquiring their practice. So I'm so appreciative of you all being here. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat. This is my CE disclosure size. I am the founder of CE and CEO of Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect. Commercial support has not been provided for this specific CE program, but we did have one of our sponsors share before we got started here. If you have any questions about anything I do, please ask them in the chat. So I'm a big fan of the power of video and a big fan of your communication skills. So whether you've seen this before, this is your first time seeing this video, you can go to your office tomorrow and stop saying these words. Stop saying these words to make you sound weird, to make you sound off-putting to patients. So maybe we can say this instead of saying this. Don't say this, say this. Let's listen in together. Does your dentist say words to you that make you feel weird, scared, and afraid? Well, it's not your dentist's fault, because they went to dental school, and in dental school, we are taught to talk really, really weird. You may have a hygienist as well. She's also taught to talk really, really weird. My name is Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nacho, and I am helping dentists and hygienists everywhere not talk weird. So I've come up with 5 words you should not say in a dental office. 5 words that will make your patients feel scared, feel weird, feel afraid, and make you unlikable. So what are these 5 words? So we're going to go through don't say this, say this. The first word is fail or failed. There's no reason we have to look at a patient who's had a bridge in place for 20 years and say, Millie, your bridge has failed. It's unlikable, it's mean, and it doesn't even make sense because cars don't last that long. So instead of failed, how about we say this? Hey, Millie, it's time to replace your bridge. So don't say fail, say replace. What's next? My personal favorite, the one that makes you feel so weird on the inside when you say it. If a tooth does not have a filling, we are taught to call those teeth virgins. Does that make you feel comfortable to hear the word virgin? Instead of saying virgin, how about saying tooth without a filling? This tooth doesn't have a filling, not that it's a virgin. The third thing is save. We often say to patients, we can't save this tooth. So dramatic, like it's Private Premolar Ryan and Tom Hanks is coming to save it. So instead of that, say, hey, the cavity here has gotten so deep, we cannot maintain this tooth. So to review, don't say fail, say replace. Don't say virgin, say tooth without a filling. Don't say save, say maintain. We have 2 more. Informed consent, so dramatic. I'm going to give you an informed consent for a root canal. Now, what could you call an informed consent? A heads up.
I'm going to give you a heads up what can happen. So you can have an informed consent form where it says informed consent, but as you bring it to life for patients, say, I'm going to give you a heads up. Most of the time things go really, really well, but these are some things you should know about your procedure. I'm going to give you a heads up, whether it's a root canal, scaling and root planing a crown. And the final one is the P word. Do not say this P word. And that P word is policy. No one likes to hear that word. You don't like it, I don't like it, and our patients don't like it. So you may have a financial policy where everyone pays before treatment. That's cool. But instead of saying policy, why don't you call it protocol? So don't say policy, say protocol. So these are the 5 words you should not say to be less weird and more likable in the dental office. Don't say fail, say replaced. Don't say virgin, say tooth without a filling. Don't say save, say maintained. Don't say informed consent, say heads up. Don't say policy, say protocol. If I can help you in any way, just reach out to me at dentalnachos.com. It is my life's goal to help you talk less weird.
So that is the power of ABC. Always be connecting, always be communicating, always be clear, always be consistent, whether it's with patients, whether it's with brokers, whether it's with bankers, whether it's talking to the dentist and the spouse of the practice that you want to buy. Work on your words. And I like you to share them still. I'm so impressed. So many people are watching in live. Maybe you're watching this on demand, on recording. But for those of you watching in live, would you help me by going into the chat? Okay, you can all do it. And just say, how many years have you been in the dentisting world? D1, D2, D3, D4, D40, D25. I'm going to technically call myself a D26 because I started in dental school in 1999. So if you would help me by going into the chat and sharing with me, how long have you been in this dentist? D8, I like that. Thank you. Do it for everyone. Let everybody know. Unless you really don't want to show it, unless you want to have Zoom HIPAA, I appreciate that. But feel free. Don't put it for host and panels. Put it for everyone. Get to know each other. Tell people where you're watching it on. Always be collaborating. ABC to FLA is one of our messages. Always be connecting to feel less alone. So what is our checklist for success for this program? What is our checklist for success? It's a great thing to put on a whiteboard. Whether you're a dentist who's working with a new dental assistant, checklist for success, make sure we get great local anesthesia. For that, make sure we seat the patient on time, make sure we give post-op instructions. So what are the keys to finding the right associate dentist? What are some of the keys to finding the right associate dentist? Common pitfalls to avoid during transitions, and assembling the right team for buying and selling a dental practice. Who do you want to put on your team for buying it? We got a D29 from one of my favorite nacho people out there. 2 years in, thanks for sharing. So my best tip for you, that will pretty much be the same tip in life and in your dental world for being successful. Start earlier than you think. Start earlier than you think. I want to share that in my experience, specialists do this a lot better than general dentists. And one of the reasons I think they do that is because specialists go to specialty programs and they follow around bigger, stronger dentists before they are allowed to do their specialty thing. And a pediatric dentist came to a in-person event just like this in like 2018, and they weren't ready to sell their practice yet, but they wanted to find out about it and they planned early. And then, does anyone remember what happened in March of 2020? I want to put it in the chat. Does anyone remember? Oh yes, a worldwide pandemic. And because this dentist, this pediatric dentist was ready and had everything in place, they were able to sell their practice at an amazing value during the pandemic. If they hadn't started the process early and hadn't listened to things like this, they wouldn't have been as successful. So my message to you is start earlier than you think. What are some of the keys to finding the right dental associates? Get the most options for your practice for the most important position. Too often people tell me, Paul, my brother's cousin's girlfriend's friend is going to dental school, so they're going to work for me. And I say, you're going to put all of your eggs in one basket, associate eggs in one basket? That's great to have one option. Get yourself 4, 5, 6, 7 options. Common pitfalls to avoid during transitions. This is really, really important. Get advisors on your side who only work for you. One of my biggest mistakes was working with a dual representation broker in buying 2 dental practices. I regret it. It cost me money. It wasn't a good decision. There were no Facebook groups to help me back then. So make sure you get advisors who work only for you. And assembling the right team for these transitions is meeting these people earlier than you need them. Just like we all, I want to ask you guys a question here. I know people in the chat here, I'm not going to, break Zoom HIPAA. But when it's December 15th and a patient calls and says, I really, really, really need to get in to get my crown done before my insurance expires at the end of the year, and you treatment plan that crown in February, how do you feel about that patient? What's the feeling you have about that patient who waits till the end of the year and then tries to mess up your schedule by needing to be squeezed in for a crown when you told them 10 months ago? How would you describe how you feel when your front desk team member says that to you? So I'd love if you put it in the chat. What annoyed, frustrated, why didn't they come earlier? So when it comes to building a team, make sure you're meeting these advisors earlier than you need them at CE events, connecting with banks before you have a practice that you're looking at. There is no cost to just meet advisors. Let them know who you are. Make sure you're in their CRM system, their database. So when you call and say, hey, dental focused attorney, I need to submit an LOI, it's not the first time you're calling or emailing this dental focused attorney. So did anyone share any of their feelings in the chat? Not yet, but we're hopefully going to get that done soon. So it's really important for you guys to have a course here that answers the questions you came to learn about. So when I show this next video, because I'm a huge fan of videos, I would like you to put one thing in the chat. And if it's so private, you don't want someone to know you're here, just put it to host and panelist. But if it's something you think everyone can learn about, I would love if you put it in the everyone section. My feeling is bruh. I love that. My feeling is bruh. You could have put bruh for everyone, but I love this dentist too. I'm so glad they're here. You're happy to see them if you have time for them. If you have time for them. So these are the 4 biggest decisions you will make: finding a job, buying a practice, hiring an associate, and selling that practice. Make sure you are successful at each stage, and it starts with best practices. Like if you sign an associate agreement without having a dental focused attorney review it, you are nacho nuts. That's my technical term. You went to dental school for 4 years. You've invested 4 years of your life, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're going to be too cheap to hire a dental focused attorney to make sure your restrictive covenant won't prevent you from buying a practice, to make sure that if you have a 90-day termination notice and you want to leave 80 days early, you don't have to pay back $1,000 a day. So best practices like that, put them into each decision along this journey. Put as much attention on treatment planning success with these 4 decisions as you do with treatment planning your patients, because these 4 decisions are about your happiness, your family success. Oh, you don't change where your messages go? Oh man, thanks. You can't do everyone here? I don't know why. Sorry, guys. My favorite dental student. Can you try to type to everyone? Okay, I'll read them for you. I appreciate if you do hosts and panelists. I just like you guys to get to know each other. So when I share the messages in this video and you listen, I would like you to share one thing in the chat that you would like answered over the next 40 minutes. One thing, you're sitting here, you're listening, you're investing your time. What is one thing you would want answered?
And I want to start off with, sometimes one of the worst things that happened to you is one of the best things that happens to someone else. During the pandemic, my wife and I were sitting on the couch, very popular place for us to be during the pandemic. Tons of TV. Sometimes I wonder if my couch misses me from all that time in 2020. So Morgan comes up to us and says, hey guys, I need to tell you something. Not once in the history of I need to tell you something has something been good on the other side. Need to tell me how handsome and funny I am? Not that. Said, hey guys, I need to tell you this, but first let me tell you who Morgan is. Morgan saved our family during the pandemic. To call Morgan a babysitter would be an insult to Morgan. She was a caretaker of our 2- and 6-year-old,
Did anyone here, raise your hand, try to operate people under the age of 10 during 2020? You guys definitely deserve a round of applause like me, because it was not easy. We were running Little House on the kitchen table prairie for school with my wife and 6-year-old. I would just get up and remove my 2-year-old from the house so everyone could stay sane. So Morgan took care of our family. My wife met her early in the pandemic. She came 3 days a week. She was our sanity savior. So she comes up to us and says, "Hey guys, I need to tell you something." And I knew it wasn't going to be good. She said, "I just graduated from college. I've lived in Philadelphia my whole life. I'd like to explore new things, meet new people, and next month I'm moving to San Diego." And I said, "Oh, that sounds great, but San Diego is closed. You have to stay with us here forever." Now, while I try to be positive, this was truly devastating to us. So what did my wife do? Facebook mom groups, care.com. We were literally asking random people on the street who had other kids, do they know a babysitter, right? Because when you need help, you need help. So my goal today is think of the Morgans like the associates in your life, the people that keep you sane, the people that help you be successful, the people that are truly part of your dental family. And when they move on, for sometimes good reasons, sometimes not so good reasons, you need to find a new Morgan. So this falls under my everything that matters needs a system and everything matters. And some things about this program, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay through my earphones here. Can you guys all hear me? Could someone just, because I just want to put these in. And I want to start, or raise your hand if you can hear me okay. Or say, "Hey, Paul." Good. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. So not everything about shows on transitions is all about happiness. Not everything is about all fantastic. Some are frustrating things. Life happens when you're making other treatment plans. Team members leave. You might get injured. I mean, if you own a dental practice right now, you could get injured. We deal with dentists who sadly suddenly die, and their family is left trying to figure out how to sell their practice without any of the information they need. So if you are a practice owner, just like me, you need an emergency, in case of emergency, break glass, and have listed important documents. I do them digital and on paper. Who to call immediately, your advisors, how to connect with them. It's a really good exercise to talk with whoever is going to have to sell your practice if you're not there. And this always doesn't have to be for something so dramatic. It could be that we have situations where someone's spouse gets an amazing job and they have to move in a short time frame. So if you're a selling dentist, a seasoned age dentist, get the information in order today. If you're going to buy a practice, because we have those people here, get your information in order today. Because when it comes time to getting bank financing, you might lose a practice if you can't get it fast enough. Because some practices, we work with a sponsor who sells practices across the country, and there's a practice for sale that collects $2 million a year, less than an hour from where I'm sitting, okay? That practice got 20 inquiries as soon as the broker put it out there. So they're not going to wait for you to talk to a bank. So whether you're a seller or a buyer, get your information together today. There's plenty of resources we have to help you. I'm going to answer questions along here as well. But someone asked, how do you find a dental focused team and who can to help you buy a practice? That's a really great question. So many people ask me that question. The way you find it is by finding any advisor in your life. Use the power of the internet. Ask for personal referrals and interview them yourself. At the end, I will give you a way for you to meet all the people that help us through our community, that also sponsor and support our group. But it's not about using our sponsors. It's not about using the people that I know. It's knowing who you need. So who needs to be on this team? A dental-focused attorney, a dental-focused accountant, often a financial advisor. A dental insurance specialist can be very, very helpful. A coach can be on this team as well. A personal confidant. These are all people for you to start to meet. But at the top of that list, that dental-focused attorney and dental-focused accountant are so key. When or how do I start to plan to buy a practice? Do I plan on first getting the funding before seeing a specific practice? So one of the things is, Who here, you guys raise your hand or thumbs up, feels that sometimes people hate the dentist? And who's ever been in an operatory and had someone say, I just want to let you know I hate the dentist? And I want to say, I just want to let you know you could have totally kept that in your head. So we are often disliked by the public, often disliked by so many people. But you know who loves us? Banks love us. Banks love dentists. Now, it doesn't mean just because you can get a loan, it's a good loan to take. But I would start connecting. If you want to know you want to buy a practice, I would start meeting bankers today from dental focused lenders. If you go to the bank in your town who has your checking account, they may not be agile enough to do dental focused loans because dentists come with $500,000 in debt asking for $1 million more to buy a practice. And when that happens, you need a bank that's used to working with dentists. But really great questions. Keep asking questions like this in the chat. So it was 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I had 70 New Jersey State Police officers staring at me. 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, 70 New Jersey State Police officers staring at me. They all needed dental exams. The New Jersey State Police runs their recruits through eye exams, dental exams, ortho exams, hearing exams before they go to boot camp. So they put them all in this place in a day and they go from room to room to room. And the dentist, my brother and I, we're just supposed to check that they don't have any abscesses or big problems that would prevent them from going to boot camp. So I said to these older state police officers, like, why do you guys do this? Like, why do they have to do all this? They said, well, back in the day when we recruited police officers and we sent them to boot camp, some would drop out and we wouldn't have enough state police officers. So what we do now is we take, like, if we need 60 police officers for the year, we take 70 and we send them to a weekend boot camp. And after they go through the test with you, they go to a weekend boot camp. At the end of that boot camp, we say, hey, state police recruits, this is what real boot camp feels like. Do you want to keep going? And some of them say, no, thanks, I'm out. But if they have 70 and they need 60 and 10 drop out, they still have 60. Back in the day, if they needed 60 and 10 dropped out, they'd only have 50, they would be 10 short. So what can you learn from this story, what I call story impact actionable tip? The New Jersey State Police runs these practice boot camps. We can do the same thing in our dental practices. We can run observation days, not a fan of clinical working interviews, where we have an associate dentist come in and shadow everything we do inside and outside of the operatory. Make it a real game. Have them talk to the office manager, have them talk to the hygienist, have them talk to you. And they're learning about your practice and you're learning about them. I do this with my Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect organizations. And then at the end of that day, say, hey, what did you learn here? Does this seem like a place where you want to work? And this gives you both an opportunity to either move forward and do something more serious or say, no, thanks, not for me. And you will learn from the questions that they ask if they're a fit for you. So when someone comes in shadows, you don't just say, walk around, see what you're doing. Ask them questions. Ask them what they see. Ask them if this is a practice where they think they could add value to it. What are some really good questions to ask an associate dentist? Ask them questions like this. Tell me a story or share a story about a time where you made a patient really, really happy. What was the procedure that you did? Another great question. If you were to join our practice, what could you bring from the last practice where you worked to this practice? Digital technology, some sort of system. And what you're asking them is, what did you learn at your last job? And if it's the first job they have in dentistry, that's going to be an orange flag for you, practice owner. An orange flag doesn't mean run away or move forward. Just know, whenever you've hired someone for the very first job that they've had, it takes extra TLC and handholding. And some of you may be set up for that, and some of you may not. These are the 3 M's that matter most to associate dentist: morale, money, and mentorship. So since I'm here, we're doing fun free CE, and you're hanging out, I want you to put in the comments for your first associate job, or if you were giving advice, because I have a D29 in there, like me, pretty close. What did I say was D26? We had dinner together at Alvez, either during the pandemic or right before the pandemic. I can't remember. What was most important to you at your first job? Morale, money, or mentorship? Morale, money, or mentorship? Or if someone was getting a job and they could only pick one M to be the most important, Would you pick morale, money, or mentorship? And I'm going to turn off my video and I'm going to turn it back on when at least 4 people have given me an M. You can do it. I believe in you. Great job. So I got all mentorships, but I have a feeling that most people ask about money. I have a feeling people ask, what's my percentage? What's my daily guarantee? Important questions. But if you all have said that the most important thing is mentorship, and my favorite D29 said I had the best mentorship, how are you asking about that? So here are some tips on how to ask about it. Or if you're offering a job, here's some tips how to showcase your mentorship. They're the same tips, but I will be the dentist, the new dentist applying for the job with you guys. Here's how I'd ask. Hey, I am really excited to work at an office like this. It seems really great. Could you tell me about the mentorship here? What does that look like? What does that look like? And see what they say. Now, I will answer as the owner of my practice. That's a great question. A lot of people ask me about mentorship. It's so important. What that looks like here is once a week, we have doctor debriefs where we go over treatment plans together. Also, it will be rare for you to be the only dentist in the office. So what's really cool here is that we are literally down the hallway or in the doctor's office. So if you're struggling with a patient interaction or you're having a problem fitting an implant impression coping, we are here to help. We are here on site with you. What questions would you want to ask as a new dentist applying for a job? This is the most important question. So I've done this many times. Some of you guys watch a lot of my webinars. Some of you have never met me, and this is the first time. Varying your tone of voice, the volume, things like that when something's important, right? It's really important for our patients to take care of their patient portion before we start a crown. So before we start a crown, what's really, really important is that our patients take care of their patient portion. That's important to you. So what you would say as a dentist applying for a job is, how often will I be the only dentist in the practice? So you should write that down. Put it in your notes. You want to see me? You guys know that I'm on my phone a lot doing things. I have all types of notes. I was giving a lecture in Dayton. This says Dayton, and you maybe can't see it through here, and it has reminders for me. So maybe you put good questions to ask on a job interview in your notes. You say, Paul Goodman said I should ask, how often will I be the only dentist in the practice? Paul Goodman said I should ask, what does mentorship look like here? Because in the heat of the moment, you're going to forget. And you're going to leave an interview without asking these questions. Question from the chat I have here is, how can I find a practice who will let me be an associate in their office for 6 months before you buy in? That's a really, really good question, which barely ever happens. So back in the olden days of my dad's generation, I worked with my dad for many years. He was an awesome dentist, dad, and mentor, one of my favorite people on earth. Sadly, he passed away in 2016, but I learned so much from him. His playbook was right out of the associate for a year, then become an owner. The way the business of dentistry works right now, it is rare for someone to need you as an associate for 6 months and then have you buy in 6 months later. I said rare, not impossible. I would be more focused on just getting a really good associate job where you learn. And most people, I will share with you, I will give you a study. Do you guys want to study from my dental school friends? Of my dental school friends who were not related to the practice owner, like me, I can only think of one who bought into the practice for their first associate job. Everyone had other associate jobs and they bought other practices. So I will just share with you, it's rare for that to happen. What you should look for is a really good associate job and look for other practices along the way when they fit. So it doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's not normal for a dentist to need a full-time associate dentist who needs to buy in the next 6 months. It doesn't mean impossible. I run a platform. It's a sponsor of my group. I founded the platform called Dentist Job Connect. You can also use Indeed. You can also use ZipRecruiter. So one of the things about CE is I can authentically share what I do, even if they sponsor my group, and also give you other choices that you can use like Indeed or ZipRecruiter. But I will share these platforms that I look at, like mine, will sometimes say $200,000 a year associate with an opportunity for partnership. So it doesn't mean that those are not out there. It just means those are not the most common for new dentists looking for jobs. Great question. Someone said, I love the doctor debrief. Brilliant. Thanks. I appreciate that. So when you present things to people, it's so key to give watch out for this things because our brain is built for the watch out more than the happiness. So let's say that I am treatment planning a snap-in overdenture, teeth that come in and out of your mouth that you can clean underneath the sink, okay? So the benefits of removable implant overdentures that come in under your mouth and you can clean under the sink. See, I do these charades with patients. You can snap them in and you can eat. Is that the teeth are made of something called acrylic, which is a plastic. And plastic is not that strong. So if you get these teeth that you can snap in your mouth and you can eat with, the plastic wears faster than the stay in all the time teeth. The stay in all the time teeth are often made out of zirconia, and they don't wear as fast. That's just an example of a watch out factor. So this is me just trying to be helpful. Like, people are going to come to Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. So watch this. Philadelphia is one of the best cities on earth. We have a world-class restaurant scene. You do not need to rent a car. You can walk everywhere. There are museums, amazing coffee. And after 10 p.m. at night, you want to be careful walking around by yourself. Because if you live in a suburbs like where I grew up, you can walk around at 10 o'clock at night with more safety and security than you can in Philadelphia. So watch out after 10 p.m. at night walking by yourself. I would make sure you have someone walking with you, especially if you're not from the area. So watch out factors are so key. So here's a watch out factor. The agent is dual rep. I'm probably going to keep the existing staff. Huge red flag. Get someone on your side ASAP. If dual rep, I wasted a lot of money working with a dual rep broker. So when you go to buy a dental practice, if a broker claims they are dual rep, that means they say they can represent your interests and the interests of the seller at the same time. I don't know how that's a thing. I've been burned by it. My message to you is watch out for dual representation brokers. I don't know why brokers all don't just pick a side, but that is not how the dental brokerage world works. So one of my favorite things to do is to scroll on my phone. Anyone else here enjoy scrolling on their phone? Anyone else watch a big screen, like the memes say? Holding your little screen, watching the big screen, holding your little screen. Say I do that. If your spouse or your friend or someone says, let's watch TV, and you say, I'm ready to watch TV, and you immediately hold your phone up to scroll while you're watching the show. Okay, I claim that I can pay attention to both. So people say me, I do that, right? So scrolling on my phone, I was on TikTok and I saw this great video of a dad saying, instead of telling our children, I'm so proud of you, we should say more, you should be so proud of yourself. So all of you that are taking the time here, not spending it with your family, not doing something else, you should be proud of yourself for being here, looking to get better, looking to make better decisions for your career. There are so many dentists that could have been here and they're not. And you're learning things that will help you get better. So what I'd like to share in maybe like the halftime of the show, big fan of basketball, put into the chat something that you have heard me say or you've seen on the slides here that made you glad you spent the first 30 minutes with me, that made you think, I better do that. Could be something new or could be something you reinforced. Could be something new, something you reinforced. Maybe you can do a doctor debrief. Maybe talk to a dental focused attorney. Maybe you're not going to use a dual representation broker. Maybe you're going to invest or going to connect with a bank. Just go to the comment section, host and panelists, and tell me one thing that you have learned so far by being here that you didn't know before. Okay, let me share what you guys said. You don't want to use a dual representation broker. So I really love this dentist who said that. I follow her on Instagram. We've talked before. I think I did something for like an interview with her once. So I would have $100,000 more dollars easily if I had heard this webinar in 2010. But there was no Zoom in 2010. The key people you need for transitions, getting your own team to represent you. So thank you guys for sharing that. So as we get into the second half of this, and this presentation could be hours and hours and hours. And those of you guys know me, we have all kinds of content for you to watch. It's not about telling you everything. Just so you know, like when you teach someone something, you can't just open up the top of their head and pour it in like in a pitcher. It's about trying to Velcro it. I learned from the awesome Karen Cortell-Reisman. So it's fewer things. Many of you are overwhelming your patients when you talk about big treatment plans, totally overwhelming them. You're going from, you have caries, you have bone atrophy, you have this, we could do partials, and they're just confused and overwhelmed. It happens to all of us. But when you can take a big, big topic, right, and you can Velcro things to people's heads, from Karen Cortell-Reisman, who helped me with this, magic happens. Because you're going to leave here saying, I'm not going to use a dual representation broker. I better connect with a bank. I better start earlier. I don't want to be dentist cheap about this. That's how learning runs. Now, this is really important. And storytelling in your treatment plan is really great. So let's just say, who here has had a patient who said, implants are too expensive. I don't want to get them. I might die soon. So people literally use death as a way to get out of their bills at the dental office. These are the same people who are spending a lot of money on cruises. So when they go to the cruise director or they go buy the cruise, they don't say, I can't take this cruise, I might die soon. When they go and buy a BMW, right? I got patients who drive up in a BMW and tell me they can't get a crown because they may die soon. I go, what about the BMW dealer? And the reason why I can joke about this, because it's not a joking matter, is if anyone, we've all had patients who are suffering from significant medical problems. And I think what's even amazing is early in my career, I did an implant overdenture. I had an oral surgeon place it, and I did the restoration on a patient who had Parkinson's, and it really helped him with the end of his life. But sometimes people use death to get out of their bills, right? They say, I don't want to get this done because I might die soon. We have hard jobs, okay? We have difficult lives, constantly having to share things with people that they don't want to do or pay for. So what I hopefully inspire you with is make sure you're treatment planning your own life for happiness, to smile more and cry less. And do you want to be a Jack or do you want to be a Carl? So at the end of this little story, I want you to put in the chat, do you want to be a Jack or do you want to be a Carl? So does anyone here know Dr. Mark Costas? I talked to him today. I'm a big fan of his. He's a mentor. He's a friend. His group sponsors what I do. We speak together. And he was giving a lecture, and he got a letter after the lecture. And it said, hi, Dr. Mark Costas. A letter after the lecture, a handwritten letter or a typed letter. Hi, Dr. Mark Costas. I really enjoyed your lecture on the business of dentistry and leadership. It was awesome. I was wondering if you knew any dentists who were looking to hire an associate. If you knew any dentists who were looking to hire an associate, okay? So that sounds like a nice story. That sounds like somebody's reaching out to a leader like Dr. Mark Costas for career advice. But here's a twist to the story. Jack was in his 60s and his letter kept going. And it said, if I had crossed paths with someone like you earlier in my career, I would have had a better career. I wouldn't have ruined my practice. I might still be talking to my family. I sold my practice because I couldn't run it well. I had problems with alcohol or dependency, no judgment on that at all, because that happens to people in life, but it was part of his journey. Didn't run his practice well business-wise, had personal issues. To the best of my knowledge, didn't have a great relationship with his family. And now, later in his career, he needed to find an associate job to make money. Let that sink in. I shared that the other day. Dentists are often some of the highest earners, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and don't retire on their own terms because no one teaches them how to manage it. It's happened to me too. No one teaches you about investing for retirement, getting disability insurance, protecting yourself. So that was Jack. He was searching for an associate job later in his career. Now let me tell you about Carl, who at the time of this letter was in the same generation as Jack. Carl had a fee-for-service practice in Philadelphia that he sold on his own terms. He had a house in the main line of Philadelphia and a house at one of the most popular beaches in New Jersey. It's not a house contest, but if you have a main home and a beach house, you have often made some great financial decisions. I will share with you, he also saved for retirement. He also put his kids through college. So Jack in his 30s went to his wife and said, I can't practice this PPO dentistry, this dentistry that I don't feel good about. I can't get, seeing too many patients. I'm going to a place, I want to go to a place called the Pankey Institute and learn how to be a better dentist. I want to invest in myself. And his wife said, I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to fly to Florida every other month. I don't want you to leave our 2 young kids. I don't want you to do it. So how many of you, whether you want to say it in the chat or not, when your spouse says to you, I don't want you to invest in CE, I don't want you to leave the family, would just say, I'm not going to do it. It's the most important person in my life. I'm not going to do it. But Carl knew more than his spouse about his dental journey. So he says, I'm going to do it, and it's going to be okay because I'm going to get us to a place where we want to be. Carl had that uncomfortable conversation. As Mark Costas says, your growth in life is related to the number of uncomfortable conversations you are willing to have. So Carl went to the Pankey Institute and came back and ran a fee-for-service practice and retired on his own terms and saved the money that he needed because he made a major change in his career in his 30s. So just put in the chat, even if it's simple, Which dentist do you want to be like in your 60s? Jack or Carl? Jack or Carl? You want to be Carl or Jack? Carl. More people can do it. We got a lot of people on here. I need to go in the chat. Carl. So remember this story when you need to have an uncomfortable conversation, because you're going to need to have one with someone who cares about you. It might be about you have to spend $10,000 on a buyer coach to help you buy the right practice. And your fiance might say, we don't have $10,000. But you're going to tell your fiance, buying the best practice for us is the most important decision of our lives. Buying the practice, buying your dental practice is arguably the most important decision of your life. And it's most definitely the most important decision of your career. Because I've had a chance to sell dental practices, and I show up to meet some of them back in the day, and they've had multiple spouses, multiple houses, one dental practice. Some of them aren't talking to their family, still have a dental practice. Some of them live alone, still have a dental practice. And some of these things that happened to them in life were in their control and out of their control. But that one dental practice has been with them for 30 years. Most people ever only buy one dental practice. It's got to be the right one for you, whether it's a acquisition or a startup. So make it with purpose, make it with intention, get the right people on your side. Someone said in the chat, I use your words and say it's about the quality of life and being able to eat. About overdentures, I really appreciate that. So what's important is to start to develop your transition treatment plan as we move into the fourth quarter of this lecture. Your transition treatment plan, it's not an optional thing if you're a dentist, a dental student. You're going to get a job. You're going to go from job to another job to buying a practice. Guess what? If you own a practice right now in the chat, you can't just give it away, can't return it. These aren't things you can just close the door and walk away. There's actually legal implications to this. So work on your transition treatment plan. One of the things that I say all the time with my teams, dental or otherwise, is if it doesn't help, it doesn't matter. Be proud to share and sell help. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't help, it doesn't matter. Be proud to share and sell help. It helps to have the right people on your side. And I'm proud to share it with you. And when it comes time to what I do with sponsors, I'm also proud to sell it to you. When a patient leaves your office with a crowns on teeth that were broken down and they say, I can finally chew, are you proud of it? Yeah. And you sold it to them? Also, yeah. We're so weird about this. I don't know what it's dental school. Dental school sells you a $500,000 degree and say, don't worry about money. It'll work itself out. It's the worst advice I've ever heard in my life. So make sure you're being purposeful. Also got here a note in the chat. I imagine how the scenario would play out if Carl was Carla and had young kids who were dependent on her. I'm a female, I'm my dentist, second trimester. That's such an important point. What I can share with you for this is someone who I admire, and I don't know if you see her on the groups, she does a lot with sleep apnea, is Dr. Erin Elliott. If you guys DM her, say Paul was bragging or saying how much he admired you. So yes, if you are the mom of young children and they're young, it's a different set of complexities to leave your house. But what Dr. Erin Elliott said was, I wish I went to more CE when I was a young mom. This is what she said. I could have used the break from my family and they could have used the break from me. How many of you as a parent feel that? Maybe your family could use a break from you. You could use a break from your family to go invest in yourself. You're not going on a trip to sit at a pool in Vegas, which sounds also a lot like a lot of fun. But if you say, hey, I got to leave on Thursday and come back on Sunday, I'm going to make sure we get the care and support, whether it's family or babysitters, so I can make things better for this family. Magic happens. Little breaks are great. I'm a huge fan of my own wife going on mom trips for all those things. So I know it can be complex, but it's possible. And she said, I wish I did more earlier. She didn't say it was an excuse, but she said, I couldn't leave my family. And looking back, I could have left them more. So maybe it's not as frequent, but there could be some creative solutions. So you also could invest in you and get more time with them later. So I'm thrilled to see some of my, what I think are raving fans of Paul's webinars because they've been on here before. But is anyone here watching me for the very first time? It would be awesome if you said, I'm here watching one of your webinars live for the first time. I'm thrilled to share with you. I'm here watching one of your webinars for the first time. Anyone here never been here before, watching here for the first time? And maybe some of you here for the second time or the fifth time, but does anyone feel like it's 7 o'clock in your time, first time for you, perfect. This isn't for me to feel good about myself. This is for me to help you with something. Here for the first time, great. You signed up for a lot of webinars, started at 7 o'clock. It's going to be like 60-ish minutes. Does anyone feel like I'm paying attention more to this webinar than I thought? Or like this guy who's in Philadelphia and I'm not in Philadelphia talking on a 2D screen, I'm paying a little more attention than I thought I would. I kind of want to hear what he says next. I'm enjoying this more than I thought. And what I want to share with you is it's all a technique. I am sitting here in Philadelphia, thousands of miles away from some of you, talking 2D on Zoom. What can you do to get people to pay more attention to you, whether it's your patient, your team, your family, your spouse? So this is what's helped me, and this is one of the greatest gifts I can give to you. These two things. To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink is one of the best books I've ever read. The world would be better if everybody read this book. If everybody, especially every dental student, no matter where you are in your journey. I was so proud. I was interviewing a sponsor yesterday on Zoom and he had it up there. So this book, get it on audio. I get the hard copy. I also get it on audio. I've read it multiple times. Talks to you about how to connect with people, how to move people forward, how we're all in the business of sales, and it could be selling help. The other thing is, and I am honored to have been able to speak so many times to audiences over the past 15 years, and I wish I had seen this sooner. How to Speak by Patrick Winston is a 60-minute YouTube video. It has a few views, 17 million views. He's an MIT professor who passed away a few years ago, presenting to MIT students about how they can talk to future employers. It is the most magical piece of how to present to content that I've ever had the opportunity to listen to. So whether you want to just get your team to see patients on time, whether you want to get your children to have their backpacks ready on time, that's a big thing in our house. Whether you want to get a seller to like you so that they sell you their practice, or an owner to like you so that they hire you, this will help you. Take a screenshot of this. How to Speak by Patrick Winston on YouTube. To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink. You can get it at any store. So as we kind of come to started the close of this here, I want to remind you about these classifications leading to what we all want one day to be a RAD, a retired age dentist. Some of you want to be a RAD next year. Some of you want to be a RAD next decade. But it is rare for any dentist to want to be a dentist till their last day on earth. So making sure you are successful and don't drop nachos in all of these stages is so key. To review some of the most important points. When looking for a job, give yourself the most options for a really important position. Have a dental-focused attorney review your contract. Go for an observation day, not a working interview. Know what questions to ask, like how often want to be the only dentist in the office. When you're a medium-aged dentist, don't wait too long to hire an associate. Get help. What's crazy to me about dentists is they go, I can't afford an associate, and they have a CEREC. I can't afford an associate, and they have a CBCT. I go, you don't know how words work. An associate is an investment in your sanity. I've helped people get 1-day-a-week associates, 2-day-a-week associates, 4-day-a-week associates. You know, they say there's nothing 100% in life, okay? So have you ever heard this saying like nothing's 100% in life? And that is not true, okay? Because you know what's 100% in life? Whenever a dentist drops a clinical day of work, they never want to pick it up again. So if you're working 4 days and you go down to 3 days because you hire a 1-day-a-week associate, you will never want to go back to 4. 3 to 2, never back. 2 to 1, never back. It is magical if you can get more freedom, free time, flexibility, fuel your practice growth, and fewer hygiene checks by adding an associate dentist. And seasoned age dentist, I hope I've awared you, maybe scared you a little bit, that you got to get your transition plan ready today because anything can happen to you. And you're really going to annoy your family if you're not there to help you, if you're not there when it comes time to sell your practice. And you have no control over that. Life happens when you're making other treatment plans. So get your in case of emergency break class, practice appraisals, advisors to work with. I will drop some resources in the chat after the CE that will help you with all of this. As we get to wrapping up, please feel free to answer any more questions in the chat, any more questions about what we want, what would help you live your best dash, because There's that poem, The Dash. You know, you're born in 1950, you die in 2020. There's a dash. How did you live your dash? What kind of impact did you have on people? It's a very nice poem, or a nice little, I don't know if it's a saying, but I think it is actually a poem. But how annoyed are you on your dash in dentistry? How many of you here in this chat have taken an associate job you wish you never took? That if you heard things like this, or you asked better questions, you never would have worked there. It's many dentists. So make sure between your dashes, you're not annoyed. You don't lose money. You don't set your career back. You don't sign a restrictive covenant that prevents you from buying a practice from where you want to buy it. Connect with the people in your dental neighborhood to make magic happen. So if you want to buy a practice in a popular area, don't just count on brokers. Go to C courses and sit next to older dentists and talk to them. Because just like anything in life, I have two dentists that I know very well that have successful practices. Both got them from sitting next to a dentist at C courses, not from broker websites. Whether they're selling their practice, they might know someone who's selling their practice. It is a golden nacho tip that when you are looking to buy a practice, find a job, hire an associate, or sell your practice, go to as much in-person CE in your local area as possible. I know everybody loves to go to Coyce. I admire John Coyce, but going to Seattle is not necessarily going to help you. Going to dental events in your neighborhood where you want to buy a practice, find a job, hire an associate will help you. So as we wrap up, and I'm going to give you the completion code here in a second, how bad is dental school debt? And why is it an important part to end this CE course? There's other ones like this. I'm going to do more. Because if we don't all understand how the Ds are affecting dentistry, dental school debt, DSOs, and dental insurance. Dental school debt, DSOs, and dental insurance. They're not all bad. They're not all good. They're impacting our profession. I work with DSOs all the time, help them find associate dentists. Without DSOs, there would be many dentists without jobs. But they're also purchasing some of the best practices, which is creating fewer opportunities for private practice dentists to purchase those. That's a discussion dentistry needs to have. I'm not pro or anti-DSO. I'm not pro or anti-private practice. I'm pro-dentist making good decisions for their career. I'm pro-dentist just like our patients understanding the risks and benefits. Isn't our job to teach them the risks and benefits of an implant bridge or partial or doing nothing? Well, I think it's part of my job to help you understand the risks and benefits of doing anything in your career. We don't have time to talk about it too much in this one before I end up, but like maybe buying a practice isn't even for you. If making $300,000 a year as an associate dentist, working 4 days a week in a place you like from 9 to 5, that might be a great career for you. Your spouse might make $300,000 a year at their job that's non-dentist. And maybe buying a practice is for you. That's okay too. One of my friends, the Forever Associate in California, follow her on Instagram. She's 42 years old and never wants to buy a practice. She's happy with what she's doing. So make sure you're choosing your happiness. But debt, why is it so important? Because it's impacting everything. 600,000, 700,000. It's impacting people's emotions. It's impacting, oh, I'll never sell my practice because young dentists have too much debt. It's not true. But if you had $600,000 in debt, you were going to sign up for another $1 million, that would have impacted you. So how could I explain dental school debt in 50 seconds so we can all understand? Let's do it through the power of video.
Go.
Okay, this is a dentist who graduated in the 1990s with debt. Oh, it's manageable. A little tough, but manageable. All right, off 1990s debt. Next, 2000s debt in the purple. Oh, this is my generation. Not easy, but the cost to go to dental school, probably at the high end, $200,000. Okay, off 2010 debt, green sweatshirt. Oh man, dental school pricing has gotten doubled, even though new grads are making the same. Dentist income is stagnant. Okay, 2020 debt. Everybody on here.
Oh,
Next. Good. Good. Drew, can you get on?
Drew, get on the back. Get on the back.
Okay. Hold on, Drew. There's 2000.
go.
Okay. I really couldn't move them at the end. I only own 2 of those kids. The other 2 are my amazing nieces. But that's how it can feel to new dentists. And we should just acknowledge that. We should have empathy. In the book, To Sell is Human, if you want some like last minute tips before I give you guys the code, people who succeed in life, people who succeed at getting patients to say yes to dental treatment, people who succeed with getting people to be on their side are really good at something called perspective taking. Too much empathy means you feel bad for your patients, you don't want to charge them money, and you don't want them to pay. That's too much empathy. It's not good. Okay. Not enough empathy. This patient would rather go on vacation than pay for dental care. That's not good either. Perspective taking is someone saying, I think that person knows how I have it. I think that person understands me. Perspective taking is a wildly valuable skill we don't talk enough about in being successful in communicating with people. So I hope as I get towards the end of this that you guys have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for participating in this. I always say finish with Fight Club, because if you want my most valuable tip in being successful, it is to create an associate contract that you would be happy to sign if you were the associate. It's to create an asset purchase agreement for your practice that you would be happy to sign if you were buying the practice. And this happened once where a dentist said, Paul, you were right. I said, tell me more. He said, I was struggling to find associates, and you told me to write a contract that I would be happy to sign if I were in their scrubs, and it worked. So in the movie Fight Club, at the end of the same person, you had like many years to watch this. So if I ruined it for you, I apologize, but that is at the end, they're the same person. So think of yourself as the same person as the person sitting across from you. If I was in their scrubs, would I sign this contract to work for me? Is it fair? Does it make sense? There shouldn't be winners and losers in deals. People should both walk away saying, I'm glad we did this thing. And this is one of my favorite things to share here.
I remember the professor saying there are 4 components to public speaking. The first thing is open up with a story. The second thing is tell your audience what it is they're going to learn and where they're going. People want to know where they're going. The third thing is deliver on that promise. And the fourth thing is leave them with actionable, immediate actionable takeaways.
So my hope is I fulfilled those things. Remember the story about the state police? Okay. Remember my checklist for success, what we're going to learn? Actionable takeaways, things that you can go and do, like connect with banks, talk to a dental focused attorney, make sure you don't hire a dual rep broker, and deliver on that promise. It's for every interaction we have, from patients to parents to advisors. And that is Jesse Itzler. Many of you don't know Jesse Itzler, but I don't know if you know this other product. He's married to someone who's pretty famous, Sarah Blakely. She's the inventor of Spanx. So that's the inventor of Spanx' husband. I think they both have great, cool entrepreneurial stories. So our message, ABC to FLA, always be connecting to feel less alone. I hope you take that with you. If you need to contact me for any reason, you can take a screenshot of this here. It's my personal cell phone number. It's my email, dentalnachos.com. So now we are going to conclude our CE course. This is the conclusion. If you would like to get CE, oh, sorry, guys. That was a dramatic end. I didn't get it. If you'd like to get CE, what all you need to do is text code to 215-543-6454, and you will get a completion code if you're here live. If you're watching on demand, there will be a self-study quiz. Text code to 215-543-6454 to get that CE verification code, and you can get CE for watching in on the show. If you're watching on demand, there will be a quiz, and I want to share with you a few things that you can take with you. If you're interested in buying a practice and need help, I'm also going to put these in the chat here. Oh, my pleasure. You guys said, thanks, excellent lecture. Makes me feel great. So text code to 215-543-6454. Text by to 215-543-6454. If you want to sell a practice and you want help, yeah, but if you want a list of advisors to help you along your journey, text burn to this number, because it's a whole list of people you can connect with to help you not burn your nachos during this process. Text burn to 215, from attorneys to accountants to buyer coaches. And then to bond us all together, we get asked often, what does my dental insurance cover? I made a 7-minute video to help people understand that. You text the word video to 215-543-6454. You will get that video. So please think of me as a friend in your phone. You have my personal cell phone number. You have my text platform. Dentistry is wild. Dentistry is wacky. Dentistry is exhausting. People said, you're awesome. Thanks for doing everything. I really appreciate that. I love connecting with all of you. Hope to see you guys at an event. And I really appreciate your attention, supporting on what we do. Please think of me to reach out with any question. If I don't know the answer, I'll get you to the right person. Have a great night, guys.